Hello everyone, this is the Metaphysical Micto Griffin Red. Uh, First off I want to say hello to everybody. I know it's been a long hiatus or whatever. I want to send my prayers out to people who will listen to this video. You know, if you had a loved one who actually caught COVID-19, want to let you know, I mean, you're in my prayers and everything. I actually lost my dad um, to it back in April. He actually wasn't my real dad, but he gave a damn. So I guess then that makes him my dad. So all I'm saying is, you guys be safe and basically take care of yourself. Now the name of this video will be talking about I'm sick and tired of hearing about race, and that's the name of this. That's going to be the name of this YouTube video. You know, in light of everything that's been happening, with the race riots and stuff like that, I really don't comment on that stuff on that type of stuff because you already know it's a narrative behind it, and the way I see it is, you look at the logic of the case, and the guilty parties, you prosecute them to the fullest extent of the law, as it should be. But the liberals and these dumbass Democrats, they want to make everything about race. So in this video, I'll be addressing two sides of the coin that I really cannot stand, and I'm sure you guys will agree with me in this video. Racist whites and bootlicking niggas, and white racist apologists, pro-black simps, and dick policing ass niggas. So I'm gonna go in on the racist white man. As I said, if you're not racist, this video is not geared at you, or I'm not attacking you or anything. Basically, if it don't apply, let it fly. Now, the first point I want to bring up is that the modern concept of race in America did not exist until after the Bacon Rebellion in 1676. You see, beforehand, the blacks that lived here in America in the colonies and whatnot were able to purchase land. They were able to live pretty equal, in the society. This is documented throughout history. And I'm going to go into a little bit more detail into this Bacon Rebellion. It's an article I read. It's off of facinghistory.org, and it's called Inventing Black and White. And it says, in Virginia in the 1600s, Anthony Johnson secured his freedom from indentured servitude, acquired land, and became a respected member of his community. Elizabeth Key successfully appealed to the colony's legal system to set her free after she had been wrongfully enslaved. By the 1700s, the laws and customs of Virginia had begun to distinguish black people from white people, making it impossible for most Virginians of African descent to do what Johnson and Key had done. Why did Virginia lawmakers make these changes? Many historians point to an event known as Bacon's Rebellion in 1676. I'm going to read little bits to this paragraph here. It says, Nathaniel Bacon was a wealthy white property owner and relative of Virginia Governor William Berkeley. But Bacon and Berkeley did not like each other, and they disagreed over issues pertaining of how the colonies should be governed, including the colony's policy towards Native Americans. Bacon wanted the colony to retaliate for raids by Native Americans on frontier settlements to remove all Native Americans from the colony so landowners like himself could expand their property. So Berkeley feared that doing so would unite all the nearby tribes in a costly and destructive war against the colony. In defiance of the governor, Bacon organized his own militia consisting of white and black indentured service and enslaved black people, who joined in exchange for freedom and attacked nearby tribes. A power struggle ensued with Bacon and his militia on one side, and Berkeley, the Virginia House of Burgess, and the rest of the colony's elite on the other. Months of conflict followed, including armed skirmishes between militias. In September 1676, militias Bacon's militia captured Jamestown and burned it to the ground. Although Bacon died of a fever a month later and the rebellion fell apart, Virginia's wealthy planters were shaken by the fact that a rebel militia that united white and black servants and slaves had destroyed the capital. After Bacon's rebellion, Virginia lawmakers began to make legal distinctions between white and black inhabitants by permanently enslaving Virginians of African descent and giving poor white indentured servants and farmers some new rights and status. They hoped to separate the two groups and make it less likely that they would unite again in rebellion. So, according to the Oxford English Dictionary, the first appearance in print of the adjective white in reference to a white man, a person of a race distinguished by a light complexion, was in 1671. Colonial charters and other official documents written in the 1600s and early 1700s rarely refer to European colonists as white. The division in American society between black and white that began in the late 1600s had devastating consequences for black Americans as slavery became an institution that flourished for centuries. Leaders and scientists from the United States and around the world would increasingly rely on the supposed differences between the black and white races to justify the brutal, inhuman treatment of slaves. Now, this is the issue I have with the racist white. If you look back in ancient history and even during medieval Europe, you had black nobility. You had blacks throughout all of Europe, and it was a black man that wrote the damn book about the Three Musketeers. And it was Charles Darwin who came up with the modern concept of the three so-called races, which is why there was so much bloodshed in the damn 1800s and the killing and the pillaging of Africa and America due to this so-called racial superiority bullshit. And there was no white or black racial classification in ancient times. It was based on your nationality. There was no white or no black. You motherfuckers make everything about skin color. And one's ethnicity does not define their culture. For example, you have celebrities such as Tommy Davidson, Mike Tyson, and quite a few other blacks that grew on to prominence and everything, and they were raised by whites. Yes, Tommy Davidson was raised by a white family. So, how do you explain that? So, because a person is of a different skin tone or whatever, that you automatically assume that he's relegated to that fucking culture. What about the blacks and and what about y'all? Y'all are able to like anime, y'all able to practice kendo and all these other stuff or whatever, but the black man is supposed to stay in his place. And the main reason why Jim Crow was created because of your insecurity that black men were gonna take your fucking white women. That's what this was about. You figured these newly emancipated black people was gonna come and get revenge, and these they were these bloodthirsty savages that were gonna kill up the good old white Christian person, the good old white Christian man in y'all fucking white way of life. Jim Crow is not coming back. It's not. You don't own this country, and you don't have the fucking right to dictate where another person fucking stays. Who the fuck are you? The reason you justify your racism by saying it's natural is because you don't want to give up your superiority complex. And you were the one that's responsible for bringing this race shit into being. The whole skin color concept and everything was based on your fucking ideologies. That shit didn't exist until you brought it up in existence. This is why you won't let it go, because your bitch ass created it. You talk about preserving your race, and at the same time, you have a lot of white nationalists that marry Asian women and fuck other races of women. It's not about the preservation of your fucking race. It's about preserving your dominance and your fucking buffer class. And if people are naturally fucking tribal, then why were blacks treated better in places like Europe and like during the Jim Crow era. If people are naturally fucking tribal, you know what this is about? You are insecure and you don't want to. You want to hold on to your race because you know that if I have to get out there and I have to compete and everything and get and make a life for myself my own fucking merit, I'm gonna have to let the race thing go. I'm gonna have to compete with the lowly nigger. And most of you motherfuckers don't like that. Jim Crow's not coming back, and your status as the default man is not coming back. That's going away as well. And you have men like decent, like decent good white men, like Mason, no, his name's Dixon White, and he's calling y'all out on y'all bullshit. You guys were insulated from a lot of the hardships during Jim Crow. You were guaranteed to go anywhere you wanted to or whatnot. You were able to, be the Renaissance man and travel all over the world and everything. You had no competition. And you're getting pissed off because black men are actually getting out there and going to these other countries, and you're afraid because you don't want to fucking compete with them. And that's why your own woman has made you her bitch through feminism. And you don't fucking like that. You don't like the fact that that you created these characters throughout the early American history, the Sambo and the Tom and with the big exaggerated lips and everything like that. And it scares you and it boggles your mind that white women still fuck black men. Still found black men attractive. Then you came out with the King Kong movie, which was a metaphor for black men and white women, and your women still found us attractive. At the beginning of the 70s, during the blaxploitation era, it pissed you off that black men were dicking down white women on the sets of those movies. It scares you, doesn't it, Mr. Racist White Man? Because you know why? You're an arrogant, insecure, squat piss and tampon wearing hoe. And you don't want to give up your fucking racial category and everything like that. You want to talk about, I have a right to preserve my culture. Nobody's making you marry somebody else out of your race. You go out there and you marry somebody white. You were losing your fucking buffer class. That's what this is about. You want to preserve your fucking dominance. You want to be able to go out and kill a person because of the color of their skin and string them up by their neck. That scares you. And you have always had an issue with black men dating other women. Because in your mind, it's about black domination. This is why you strung them up when you lynched them, you cut off their genitals. There's not a weaker, more insecure bitch than you, Mr. Racist White Man. And now I'm about to go over to these boot-licking ass, pro-black simp, dick-policing ass niggas. First off, let me tell you something. Integration did not destroy the black community. It was the welfare state, black women joining feminism, and fathers being forced out of the home, and the crack epidemic of the 1980s. Blaming integration is a fucking cop-out. And I know y'all gonna try to come back with, we had our own will. We had Black Wall Street. Okay, what happened to these black utopias? They burned them and razed them to the fucking ground. Yes, we had our own stuff, but we couldn't vote. We still had, we were denied government assistance. We were denied a lot of the stuff that most Americans were entitled to. We were denied it based on our skin color. So you want to tell me that we were wrong for wanting to stand up for our rights and go after something? Which is our fucking birthright. We done fought and died in this country just like the white man. And you want to go back to being called a second-class citizen? This is why I say most of you niggas are fucking slaves. And why do you police black men who date out their race when black women have historically married and dated white men during the times of Jim Crow? Hell, Maya Angelou and several other black women have dated several white men. And it was Loving versus Virginia who opened up the case for interracial date, and that was between a white man and a black woman. You stupid ass nigga. And we are under no obligation to remain in the community where we are ridiculed, mocked, and attacked. We have a right to go where we are celebrated. Black man, good black woman. If you out there and you have good friends that are that's close to you and love and respect you, and they just happen to be of a different race, don't end your friendships with them on account of these fucking niggas. Because most black people have a slave mindset and a hive mindset. And they don't speak for those of us who are brave enough to think for ourselves and not toe the fucking Negro line. Just because you have a racial hang up with so-called white people and you want to wallow in your perpetual victimhood does not mean that we free-thinking blacks do. And then you sit up here and want to call Martin Luther King a weak-ass nigga. That's because you were not brave enough to do what the hell he did. If you did your research, you would know that the civil rights movement was originally a secular movement. And the reverends and the Christians, they took it over. There's a video by, his name is Markel Garrett. And he explains that it was actually a secular movement. So Martin Luther King, he was brave, and I commend him for what he did. And you got certain Negroes, attacking this man because he liked the white women, and all this other stuff. So what if he liked white women? He was a human just like the rest of us. He wasn't perfect. And I have an issue with certain groups of, like the leftists and the liberals and everything, making these people out to be saints when they were human beings. They were flawed like everyone else. And you niggas blaming integration for your fuck-ups and talking about we all need to move to Africa, that shit is a cop-out. Because true freedom requires effort, and the majority of you do not want to give up your victim status to be truly free. You dog and rag on successful blacks because you know they don't fit the narrative and toe that Negro line like you do. Not knowing that for every black person that becomes successful in America, it is a vicious blow to white supremacy. Because like crabs in a barrel, you motherfuckers are miserable and misery loves company. And you Negroes are too quick to do anything to appease whitey and be an apologist for these racist white motherfuckers. White people do not own this country or this fucking planet. Just because you too afraid to leave a block in the hood does not give you the right to impede and shame other free-thinking black men and women into exploring and enjoying what this world has to offer. You niggas need to read true American history. Instead of you stupid-ass racist white people. Y'all need to fucking read true American history. Y'all don't own this fucking planet. And lastly, I truly believe that MGTOW, the IPMOR, and the SYSBM, etc., we are the chosen ones. Because we are brave enough to question all the bullshit in this racist-ass, gynocentric society. With that being said, this is why I'm sick of the race thing. I've walked away from it. I'm not going to entertain the racist white, and I'm not going to entertain you stupid-ass niggas who want to go back to being told what white people, being told what to do by this white man. You Negroes can be a fucking slave. I'm not doing it. To the rest of you, the black man and the good black woman, you MGTOW, IPMOR, SYSBM, save your fucking self. Leave them motherfuckers to burn. And don't concern yourself with these racist ass whites. You go where you want to go, you live where you want to live, and you love who the fuck you want to love. Fuck them. Fuck the both of them. And go out there and get your prosperity. And don't apologize for it. It's the end of this video.